All right, if you operate a Pilatus PC-6, you're going to want to pay close attention. EASA has just put out a Proposed Airworthiness Directive, 25-169, and it introduces some new mandatory maintenance requirements. Honestly, understanding these changes is absolutely critical for the continued safety and legal operation of your aircraft. So here's how we're going to break this down. We'll kick things off with why this AD exists and who it affects. Then we'll dive into the specific technical actions you need to take. After that, we'll talk about the required updates to your aircraft maintenance program, and we'll wrap it all up with a clear action plan and the deadlines you can't miss. Okay, let's get right to the heart of it. First up, we need to understand exactly why EASA issued this directive and which specific aircraft are on the list. So what's the bottom line here? Well, EASA has basically determined that the old airworthiness limitations for the PC-6 just aren't cutting it anymore. Pilatus went back to the drawing board and developed new, tougher maintenance tasks and life limits to guarantee the plane's structural integrity. This AD is what makes those new, safer instructions the law of the land. It's a direct result of us learning more about the airframe over time. Now, you should know this isn't coming completely out of the blue. This new directive actually builds on and replaces an older one from 2020. It keeps all the original requirements, but, and this is the important part, it folds in the new, more stringent tasks that Pilatus just published. You can think of it as a critical software update for your plane's safety plan, making sure the latest engineering knowledge is being put into practice. One of the big changes here is making things simpler, document-wise. Your single source of truth from now on is the Airworthiness Limitations Section, or ALS. Specifically, you need document 02334, issue 13. This is the playbook. It has all the mandatory life limits and maintenance checks you need to follow. So, who needs to worry about this? The answer is incredibly simple. Everyone. This AD covers the entire Pilatus PC-6 fleet. End of story. It doesn't matter what the serial number is or if it was built by Pilatus, Fairchild, or anyone else. If you fly a PC-6, this AD is for you. Okay, let's move on from the why and get into the what. We're going to look at the practical, hands-on work. This is all about the specific technical requirements for your maintenance and engineering teams. The directive boils down to 3 crystal clear rules. First, any part with a life limit has to be replaced before it hits that new limit, which is often shorter than the old one. Second, all of those new maintenance tasks have to be done within the updated schedules. And third, this one's a biggie, if you find anything wrong, it has to be fixed before that plane flies again. No exceptions. And here's a point that really drives home the focus on safety. If your team finds a problem that isn't covered in the maintenance manual, you can't just improvise. The AD is explicit. That aircraft is grounded. You have to stop, contact Pilatus directly, get approved repair instructions from them, and only then can you complete the work. All right, let's shift gears from the hangar floor to the office. Let's talk about the paperwork, because it's every bit as important as the physical maintenance. This section is specifically for the continuing airworthiness management organizations, the CAMOs, and the planning teams. Here's the number you need to burn into your memory: 12. You have exactly 12 months from the day this ad goes into effect to get your aircraft maintenance program, your AMP, revised and approved. This is a hard deadline, folks. So what does this AMP revision actually involve? It means you have to take every single one of those new limitations, tasks, and schedules from that new ALS document and bake them directly into your AMP. This is how these enhanced safety measures become a permanent, routine part of your aircraft's life. Okay, let's pull all these pieces together. It's time for a clear, simple action plan. This is the checklist that every team needs to have to make sure compliance is seamless and safe. These are the documents you'll be living with. Make sure your teams are working from the latest and greatest versions, especially ALS Document 02334, Issue 13. It's also worth noting that EASA says if an even newer, approved version of these documents comes out, you're allowed to use that too. So here is the final game plan, broken down by team. Camo, your #1 priority is getting that AMP revised within the 12-month window. Planning, you need to get these new tasks and part swaps on the schedule right away. Maintenance, your mission is to execute everything flawlessly by the book, the new ALS book. And for everybody, the key is communication. You have to coordinate to get this done on time without cutting any corners on safety. We'll leave you with one final question to think about. This AD is a perfect example of how fast things can change. It really forces us to ask, is our process for managing our maintenance programs agile enough?
Is your system ready not just for this AD, but for whatever comes next? That wraps up our look at EASA AD 25169.